What's going on, everyone? We are heading into the most important day of the week. Looking at the market today, it was kind of all over the place and it was falling a little bit early on, but it ended up rising in a strong way to end the day. In today's video, we also have to talk about some pretty important things that are secretly happening in the economy and the market right now. So you guys better stick with us all the way to the end. We have a lot of great setups and predictions for tomorrow as well. But with that being said, Tom, let's jump right into it.
Man, there was a ton of stocks that started pushing back to the upside today, especially at the end of the day. Like, look at NVIDIA, the way that we saw it start to roar to the upside. Look at Amazon here, up 1.8%. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's definitely over the average move that we've been seeing over the past year. So we saw a lot of volatility back to the upside there, which was fantastic. And that SPY started double topping again. Mike, I was looking at TLT and I saw it falling off midday and I was like, no, not again. And then we started coming back up once again here. So I'm loving this. You know, we're starting to see those yields fall down. If we go to a chart of US 10Y, which are the 10-year yields, we go out to the daily, you can start to see how that downtrend is starting to come in pretty swiftly here. So this is looking good for the overall market. And hey, it's always good to see some nice uptrends here like this, although it did catch me a little off guard there end of day. I mean, that was a rocket ship here.
Yeah, no doubt. And one of the biggest events of today was actually the FOMC minutes report. And basically what happened is we could see that a lot of the Fed officials, as of last month, still saw at least one more rate hike in place. But since then, a lot has happened in the economy and the world. And basically, we have a lot of Fed members saying they want another rate hike, but the market is calling BS on that. And, you know, it's kind of like a standstill right here. But we will get a lot more key information tomorrow with the inflation report.
Yeah, that inflation report is going to be extremely important. I know everybody was watching at 2 p.m. Eastern time today for the FOMC minutes, but honestly, I think that the inflation report tomorrow is even more important. So be ready. 1 hour before the market opens, you can see they're expecting that inflation number to stay pretty stagnant, right around 3.6 to 3.7%. And if we actually go out to the inflation chart, you can see how it's been kind of upticking here recently. If there's a surprise and this number starts to come in closer to 4%, let's say, then it'll start to get scary. But one thing that I do want to reiterate is that a lot of people might be thinking right now, hey, isn't this Israel situation and oil starting to maybe pop up slightly? Isn't that starting to play a role on inflation? And it might over some time. But this is the inflation rate from September. So, you know, this is before these events even occurred.
Exactly. So either way, the main thing you need to know is 1 hour before market open, key inflation data will release. And basically, if it is higher than 3.7%, that is not a good thing. And it can add a lot of selling pressure into the markets. However, if it's closer to 3.6% or a little bit lower, it will be a very good sign. So keep that in mind as well. But Tom, not only do we have to pay attention to inflation data tomorrow, but the market overall and the economy itself has been showing some pretty worrying signs lately. And I was looking at this data related to bankruptcies so far this year, and it's looking pretty nasty, I'll say that. So we could see so far in 2023, just through September, we've seen 516, U.S. bankruptcy filings, where in 2022 and 2021, the numbers were nowhere near that. So, just like another worrying sign to keep in mind going forward.
Yeah, and the markets are pretty much, or not the markets, but this data is kind of suggesting that the bankruptcies are just as bad almost as during COVID, which is a pretty bad situation, right? So to say that we're getting that high in this number again is pretty freaky. We haven't really seen these numbers besides for COVID going back to, after the great financial collapse of 2008. So it's definitely going to be a pretty interesting next couple months, Mike. I wonder how high this is going to get. Are we going to beat the COVID number even? Maybe so if the feds keep their tightening up.
Yeah, I hope not, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And then, what I think is even more eye-opening is actually what we're seeing with credit cards right now. And basically, all the way at the top in the orange line, we could see, the interest rates on credit cards. And, Basically they went from like 14 to 15% over the recent years, all the way up to like 22% on average. So it's a really big increase, and in turn, we have seen delinquencies rise with credit cards. And while in the grand scheme of things, we're looking at this middle chart, while delinquencies aren't too high in the grand scheme of things, the pace at which they are rising, which is the bottom chart, is the most concerning, because we are seeing a 50% increase year over year in credit card delinquencies, and we have never seen an increase this violent, we'll say, since 1995, and that's just how far back this data goes. It could be even longer, but the main thing is when you see credit card delinquencies rising by 50% year over year and the interest rates on credit cards rising like this, it just shows that, the economy is hurting a little bit.
Yeah, it is. Those consumers are feeling a lot of pressure right now, and I know a lot of people out there are it sucks, but with the higher costs of food, the higher costs of gas, the higher costs of living, I mean, it's getting pretty bad for the average consumer out there. And now I know that there's a lot of people that are weathering the storm right, but for everybody who isn't, they're starting to feel that pretty rough. I think that's why the overall number is still fairly low. So I think that it's still okay for right now. But if that overall number keeps rising at this pace, oh boy, it's going to get bad really quick. So I sure hope that they can get this situation calmed down soon. And I think that the feds will over the next 3 to 6 months, maybe even over the next year.
Yeah, and then a lot of people, in scary times, they look to VIX or other, safe havens where they can protect themselves. And what's interesting is the volume for options, at least, that we're seeing on VIX are at their highest level ever, and they're growing very, very quickly year over year. So if this should tell you anything, it shows that people are definitely flocking and putting their money where, where they see fit, and mostly in a bearish way, because when people are trading VIX, it's normally used to hedge and just protect themselves from a falling market.
Yeah, and it was actually pretty low during 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and then you have this big jump up here this year, and it makes sense given everything that we're starting to see. So I'm really hoping that we don't have a huge crash or something like that, Mike, and I don't think that we'll have a huge crash, but I do think that if we go out to like a daily chart of the SPY or the QQQ or et cetera, that we could end up moving a little bit lower, right? Because you go look at stocks like NVIDIA, and they're almost back to all-time highs here, actually, now that I'm looking.
Yeah, crazy. Alrighty, Tom. Well, some other interesting things we have for the week is earnings season ramping up, and the end of this week is the most exciting for earnings, so fill us in.
Yeah, so we got those big bank stocks tomorrow, on Friday. I mean, JP Morgan, UNH, or that's not a bank stock, but still a pretty big stock. Citigroup, BlackRock, Wells Fargo. I mean, those are some pretty big players in the financial sector. So keep them all on the radar. I know that there's a few people out there that like to play earnings. I don't necessarily recommend it, but if you did, you'd have to enter at some point tomorrow because they will report in pre-market on Friday. But for tomorrow, we have Delta and Walgreens. So watch those. I know Delta will actually be pretty interesting for the airlines, but hey, it's cool to see earnings season kicking off again. We're going to be seeing some pretty big moves.
There we go. Well, Tom, let's get right into the exciting stuff for today, which are some setups for tomorrow. A stock I'm watching pretty closely is a stock that you guys haven't heard me mention in a long time. I'm just kidding. PayPal. So I've been talking about this stock for a lot recently, I'll say, and it really just hasn't moved too much. PayPal is very oversold, and it is bouncing in a strong way off of the $56 support. And while it was up a little bit today, I think it has a lot more room to the upside. So I am watching it in a very close way to the upside. The way in which it's oversold, and if the market keeps like holding up like it is, I think we can see a pretty decent bounce. And I think at minimum, we could see a retest of like $60.
Yeah, I think we could too, and I've been loving the way it's holding down here and continuing to bounce off support, so I love PayPal down here. It's so low. I'll definitely keep it on the radar as well. Mike, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who said, wow, you guys didn't mention this stock yet. TPST, Tempest Therapeutics, is up 3,900%. Let me repeat that, 3,900% today. I will say this. I threw it in the plays for today because I didn't really want a lot of people to look at this. It's going to be a stock where it creates a lot of FOMO. Just be aware of this one. They looks like they passed a study for a cancer treatment. Now, I'm not a doctor. There's a lot of complicated stuff with this drug that they're trying to develop, it looks like, but it's running to the upside in a crazy way. And I figured I'd mention it because a 3,900% move out of a therapeutic stock is no joke.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, their cancer treatment is showing a lot of promise right now, and the market is sure loving it. Situations like this can see stocks move up a ton. Biotechnology stocks like these are some of the most volatile stocks you will ever see in the market. So it's like, this stock can keep going, but at the same time, it can easily fall right off. But either way, there's a lot of money flowing into this stock right now. It's moving in a very big way, and it's just one you want to keep on your radar. This one's very, very, very crazy, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm not even going to play it. I'm just going to keep it on the radar and just watch it because it's one hell of a fun one to watch, and it halted, I think, 50 times today. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, so good stuff there. Another stock I'm watching is BABA, B-A-B-A. Basically, the Chinese government is turning on their money printers a little bit, and they're stimulating their economy and the market. And basically, we've seen China stocks rally in a pretty strong way over the short term, and I think it has more potential to the upside. These stocks, when they do run, they tend to run with some good momentum, and these runs tend to last for, at least like a couple weeks minimum. So I will watch it pretty closely, and I do think it has some pretty good potential and a good risk reward setup in the short term to the upside.
Yeah, Baba's been really fun lately. Those calls have been going pretty dang well, and I've been loving the bot plays on Baba lately as well. So I love that. But with my next play, I'm going to go with Lockheed Martin again. I noticed that they fell off yesterday, but they're holding their ground here pretty strong today. And I think that as situations keep developing, this stock might start to get some more action back to the upside after some consolidation here. So if we're able to break like 437 and we see those other defense stocks starting to rise as well, I'll definitely be watching Lockheed Martin, LHX, and a few others back to the upside here with those with the situation in Israel. Obviously, it could cause more volatility for these.
All righty, good stuff. Well, Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays then. And with the first one, we have Peloton, this crazy stock to the upside.
Yeah, this one's awesome. I love this triple top kind of going on right around $5.50. There was a wick around open that went up to like $5.54. So if you want to maybe make it break above $5.55 tomorrow, I would like this one to the upside. And, let's actually look at this a little bit. You could throw a stop loss maybe down around 540 and maybe target something up around like 570 to 575. It's a decent risk reward, and you're keeping that stop pretty small too.
There we go. With the next one, we have Nvidia to the upside.
Yeah, Nvidia's been going. That end of day move was nuts. If they break 470, then eye up them calls.
All right. And now with the last one, we have Microsoft to the downside.
MSFT, really volatile today here. If they break under 329.20, then look at those puts. You can see it bounce there a couple of times today.
There we go. So we have that downside level on MSFT. Keep a close eye on this one, as they also had some recent news where the IRS basically said Microsoft owes an additional $29 billion with a B in back taxes. So that kind of added some extra volatility in after hours. So keep a close eye on that to the downside. But also don't forget about Nvidia and Peloton for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels listed. But with that being said, it is now about that time for the big money $1.6 million trade of the day, and we are looking at ticker symbol XBI. So some of you guys might hear this and say, what is XBI? And basically, it is a bunch of biotechnology stocks all in one. And, someone's dumping $1.6 million into the 71 strike call options that expire on December 15th of 2023. looking at XBI, it's oversold in the short term, and it's also bouncing off of a nice support right around $69 a share. This industry can move a lot based off of news, as we all know. And with everything being said, I don't think it looks bad at all, and it's one that I think everyone should watch closely over the next couple days and weeks.
Yeah, I like the expiration as well. You could swing this one pretty good, and I like the 1.6 million going in there. That's pretty hot, so definitely keep it on the radar. 71 strike, it's right around the money. I would think that they're longing it, and it's like I said, it's very oversold in the short term. And whenever you just look at healthcare stocks in general, they've been kind of down a lot lately. So I'm hoping that we can get these biotechs to come back a little bit more.
There we go. But yeah, with everything being said, Tom, we should have a pretty fun day and opportunity-filled day in the market tomorrow. Whenever we see inflation reports, it always brings in volatility, and they're just so important. So it should be a pretty good day. If you guys are new to the channel and you like our videos, make sure to demolish that subscribe button. It takes us hours to make these videos where we cover all the important information you need to know about the market and the economy, where you guys can just watch like a 20-minute video and be all caught up. We also cover setups, predictions, and big money, multi-million-dollar trades in every single video. So definitely make sure to subscribe to see our videos recommended to you more often. And if you're not in the Stocked Up Discord already, definitely join. It is completely free. In this chat, you can network with a bunch of other great traders, people, and we have people from all levels of experience, whether you just started trading or whether they just started trading recently or whether they've been in the market for decades now. It is a community for everyone, and join if you haven't already. It's completely free. We also give some free day trades in here, and Tom and myself spend our life in this chat. So definitely join. But with that being said, Tom, do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, just keep your eyes on the market tomorrow. That inflation report 1 hour before open will be so crucial. Like I said, be careful if you're going to play the bank stocks for earnings. I don't recommend it, but some people like to take a little bit of risk here and there. So check those out if you want, but it's going to be a crazy day, Mike. Anytime you get inflation data, it's important. In the past, I would say year to year and a half, it's been so much in the radar. So we got to watch it. The SPY's right at this double top. And if the data comes out well, who knows? We might break this double top and keep going. The SPY's been on a pretty good uptrend the past week.
There we go. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And besides that, let's have an amazing end to the week.